Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Monday Night Raw, and there is your ring general, Gunther. He is here and he is kicking off Monday Night Raw, and we just saw some footage to kick off Monday Night Raw just moments ago of backstage of Gunther and AJ Styles going at it once again, but this time, from the looks of it, Gunther has taken out AJ Styles in the parking lot earlier on today, so certainly AJ won't be a factor in this next matchup as Gunther takes on Luke Gallows. Carl Anderson, though, will be at ringside for this matchup to at least show support for his tag team partner Luke Gallows, but for Gunther, he just made sure his contender at the Royal Rumble will not be 100% walking into the Royal Rumble match for that World Heavyweight Championship. Not only did AJ Styles get powerbombed on that hard concrete there in the parking lot, but he got thrown on top of a windshield of a car and also had his arm bashed in through a door. So that sure as hell not the best feeling in the world. And we'll try and get you guys some medical updates on AJ Styles, the Phenomenal One, as soon as we can. But we'll see how Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson will be in this matchup. Certainly not too happy about it, and they're going to be out for some revenge, get some back for their leader of the OC, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. Gallows certainly big man matchup. This is a matchup you'd love to see. Just two hosses going at it, two big men. Multi-time tag team champion, Raw, SmackDown, even there in NXT years ago. So Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows know how to win those championships, but tonight it's a whole different ball game. This is a one-on-one matchup, and we'll see how Gallows fares with the World Heavyweight Champion. But tonight here on Monday Night Raw, we are just officially 2 weeks out from the Royal Rumble Premium Live event coming your way. And we have the Men's Royal Rumble, Women's Royal Rumble, so many big time matches, especially unsanctioned matchup between CM Punk and Seth Rollins. You got a brotherly matchup between the Usos, Jimmy and Jey. As the referee has rung the bell, we'll talk about that feud later on tonight, because that matchup will be heavily featured, as that we are scheduled to have a 8-man tag team match tonight. As we know, it's Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, The Rock, and another member. I'm being told that it's not going to be Jimmy Uso, from what I understand, but Paul Heyman saying that it's going to be someone that he's going to make a call out to. We'll see who that exactly is going to be. But also, Jey Uso, he's going to have to find 3 other superstars in the back that are willing to tag with him. Big kick out from Luke Gallows, who's already got busted open there. But like I said, we'll talk more about it. But this matchup right now, it's all about Gunther sending a message to the OC. He did it to kick off Monday Night Raw, and we're seeing it doing quite well against Luke Gallows at the moment. But now Gallows with that bear hug, that is not going to be feeling good for Gunther. Gunther does not need an injury heading in to that massive matchup at the Royal Rumble. But, with AJ Styles, he certainly is not going to be 100%. And we don't know the exact injuries besides what we saw just moments ago to kick off Raw, as Gallows with a one-hand chokeslam to the World Heavyweight Champion. And could we be moments away from a upset victory? Big man Luke Gallows could be getting one of the biggest wins of his whole entire career. And that's saying something, because like I mentioned, he has won tag team championships on all 3 brands, Raw, SmackDown, and even NXT. So we'll see if he is able to, get a big singles win. And I guess you never know what his future could be like, get himself some wins in the singles division. I guess you never know, but certainly him and Carl Anderson look to obviously get back in tag team contention. But tonight, it's all about getting some revenge for their good brother AJ Styles. And Gallows, he was laying those big hits on that midsection there, and look at Gunther. He's like, hell no, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Take a couple seconds to recuperate And oh my goodness, what a maneuver there. Gunther turning Luke Gallows inside out. And Gallows saying, hell, I'll get out of the ring too. Now Carl Anderson and kind of in between both men trying to get out of the way as Gunther, oh my goodness, what a suplex there. Turning the big 7-foot monster inside out. Talking about big time matches later on tonight. We already mentioned the 8-man tag team matchup, but we're getting 2 massive women's matchups, including Bayley and Asuka later on tonight, as well as Sasha Banks and Kairi Sane going at it 1-on-1. Also, big time tag team matchup later on tonight. We have the LWO. Hakeem Wilde and Cruz del Toro will be taking on D-Generation X later on tonight. Hold on, big pinfall attempt after that massive elbow to the lower back. Is this enough? No, Gunther able to kick out at the very last second. How much more can this man take, though? Both men have taken some massive shots from each other. Uh-oh. Gunther looking for the Coquita clutch on Luke Gallows. If Gallows can stretch out his left or right leg, he could be able to get a rope break. But right now, Gunther has him maneuvered enough to where Gallows can't really move. Gallows, ooh, a reverse headbutt. There you go. Any way to get out of that predicament that he was in. And uh-oh. Look at Gallows. Gallows with the big takedown of the World Heavyweight Champion. Pinfall attempt. Is this enough? 2. No, Gunther with a strong kick out again. The World Heavyweight Champion is in a brawl of his life right now, and he is literally fighting for his life against Luke Gallows right now. Don't know how much more he can take at this exact moment. Gunther's starting to definitely feel his face right there. Oh, got the knees up. Gunther, this could be the predicament that he needs to get out of right now. Needs to hit a big time maneuver, and he needs it now. Is Gunther big time release powerbomb? Certainly that might be enough, and it is. Gunther went through a war. That's what was expected, and we just witnessed it right there. That release powerbomb puts down Luke Gallows. Gunther gets the massive win tonight live on Raw. He sent a message to not only AJ Styles, but to Luke Gallows as well. And now, wait a minute. Gunther coming right after Carl Anderson, but Anderson not going to back down from the big man. And look at that, Anderson. No, just like that, though. Gunther getting the upper hand. Might as well finish off what you started tonight with AJ Styles. Just beat Luke Gallows in a hell of a back-and-forth matchup. And now looking to put the final pieces, and that happens to be Carl Anderson. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. What a stomp. The knee strike to the body. And now Carl Anderson getting hit with that steel chair. Gunther is not playing around. He is your World Heavyweight Champion, like it or not. He's going to put down your fan favorites. He does not give a damn. And you guys should realize that from day one. He is looking to make this championship belt as prestigious as he can. Oh no, right against the barrier, that LED post, and then he power bombs him just for good sake. Are you kidding me right now? This is getting ugly absolutely fast right now. This is not what you want. Oh no. Another slam to the outside. Can we please get some security? We know Gallows is out. AJ Styles is out. Who's going to even come out here and try to save this man? He drops the steel steps on his ribs and body. And now Gunther has even snapped even more. If I'm Anderson, I'm not getting up anymore. This ain't even worth it at this time. Oh no, Gunther. He is not done. Gunther is not done. He is looking to put the final piece to the pie right there. power bombing Carl Anderson. And just like that, Gunther has taken out the whole OC in one night. It's boss time here live on Monday Night Raw. And for Sasha Banks, she'll be accompanied by Dakota Kai. The original group of Damage Control was obviously Sasha Banks was left by then, but it was Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Last couple months, we've had some conflicts. And we've seen Io Sky have the back of her good friend Kairi Sane leaving the group, and obviously Bayley didn't really take that too kindly. So obviously, everything's going down right now. We got the Women's World Championship defense by Bayley against Kairi Sane coming up very, very soon. They're at the Royal Rumble, just 2 weeks. So having Bayley's back, it's going to be great for her. Big time matchup coming our way very, very soon. Sasha certainly would love to take Kairi Sane down a peg. Certainly, since we're just 2 weeks away, it's a massive, massive matchup for Kairi Sane coming up very, very soon. What the hell? Dakota Kai was accompanying Sasha Banks to the ring here, a part of Damage Control. We know it was Bayley, Sasha, and Dakota Kai, but now Dakota Kai is shockingly attacking Sasha Banks now. What in the hell is going on? There's now Dakota Kai stomping the ribs there of Sasha Banks. Does this mean Dakota Kai is leaving Bayley behind, leaving Sasha Banks behind? I mean, technically, Sasha Banks was never fully confirmed to be part of Damage Control, but you gotta assume that since Sasha came back, that she's joining with Bayley, and whatever Bayley was doing was what Sasha Banks was okay with. But right now, she's getting her butt whooped here live on Raw. Dakota Kai is bringing the fight to the former women's champion here, and now even a kendo stick. I don't think Dakota Kai took lightly to what Bayley said weeks ago. If you guys do remember, Bayley said that Io Sky and Dakota Kai weren't much of anything until Bayley picked them up and brought her to her side, which could be true, but I don't think Dakota Kai took that lightly. And obviously, it didn't help now that Sasha Banks is back here in WWE. But my question is, where does Dakota Kai go from here, though? And we're just mere moments away, ladies and gentlemen, from seeing a big-time matchup between Sasha and Kairi Sane. Oh no, Dakota Kai, big kick to the skull, down goes Sasha Banks. I mean, I'm not saying Sasha doesn't deserve this, but this is not how I was expecting this matchup to go down. As now, look at the chiropractor there to Sasha Banks. Is this matchup going to continue here? Sasha. Maybe one day you'll learn. Maybe even Bayley. But knowing you guys with your egotisticalness, I don't think so. What just came about was something called karma. Dakota Kai is no longer a part of Damage Control. She is officially joining us, but everyone's probably going to wonder why, and I'm going to explain it to you. Io Sky wanted to have my back from the beginning. She didn't want to lay a hand on me, and for Io, I will always love her for that. Dakota Kai, it was quite the opposite. But for Dakota Kai, I can forgive her. She sees what Bayley is turning into, and ever since she's been World Heavyweight Champion, all that has been gone to her head. Dakota Kai and Io Sky were not just two has-beens. They actually made a name for themselves before Bayley took them under her wing. Io Sky, former SmackDown Women's Champion. Dakota Kai, a former Women's Tag Team Champion without Io Sky. So Dakota Kai and Io Sky have been accomplished, unlike what Bayley has said, and being disrespectful to those two. But like I did mention, I have forgiven Dakota Kai. She has officially joined the Kabuki Warriors, and once we are done with Bayley and this whole damage control group, we can set focus to the main focus of the women's division all across the brands, especially here on Monday Night Raw, as me being the Women's World Champion. Sasha, I know you're knocked out at the moment, and I could come back down there and hit you with my elbow and make sure I get that pinfall victory, but that's just not who I am. And make sure you keep an eye on your partner Bayley's matchup later on tonight, because Asuka is going to be putting Bayley down for that 1-2-3, or maybe she'll even submit her. You just never know. But Bayley at the Royal Rumble, I'm taking that Women's World Championship away from you. You have done so much bad in this women's division ever since you became champion. And the only reason you were champion is because Io Sky and Dakota Kai helped you become women's champion in that last woman's standing match against Bianca Belair months and months ago. But that changes at the Royal Rumble. Shocking turn of events there, ladies and gentlemen. Dakota Kai turning on Sasha Banks. It seemed like, it was a fair numbers game. You got Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Sasha Banks, and then you had Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Io Sky. But, Dakota Kai has officially turned her back on Damage Control, leaving Damage Control, and officially joining up with the Kabuki Warriors. And that essentially technically leaves Bayley by herself. Yes, Sasha Banks has joined up with Bayley because they're best friends and everything like that. But does that actually mean Sasha Banks is in Damage Control? I guess we honestly would have to hear from Bayley on that. More than likely she might say that, but I guess you just never know until you hear from the mouth of the actual leader. But now switching to another group, we got the LWO, Hakeem Wilde and Cruz del Toro taking on D-Generation X. And coming up at the Royal Rumble, we will see a rematch for those Raw Tag Team Championships. It will be the LWO, Santos Escobar and Rey Mysterio taking on Braun Breaker and Big E. And coming up at the Royal Rumble, that's going to be a massive tag team matchup. Can Rey and Santos once again defeat D-Generation X, the former Raw Tag Team Champions? This is bound to be one hell of a matchup, like I just mentioned, but I have a good feeling it's going to be a show stealer for sure. A lot of matches you see in WWE, when you get that second match, that sequel matchup, I guess you could say that you get a better feeling of your opponent. You really see. You get that groove to be like, okay, hey, this is how my opponent works. Okay, if I do this instead of this, this is going to go a lot better for myself, and could obviously get yourself that championship. And certainly with D-Generation X having Dolph Ziggler at the head of this, certainly you got to believe that it's a good chance they could become the new tag team champions. But the Royal Rumble, though, certainly these superstars would love to not only be in the actual Royal Rumble matchup, but they would love to win those Raw Tag Team Championships. A lot of stuff going down there in 2 weeks' time. We've got plenty of big-time action tonight, especially this matchup right now. Braun Breaker and Big E taking on the LWO. Would love to send a message to Santos and Rey Mysterio tonight. This is the perfect opportunity to do that. But it's not going to be easy, ladies and gentlemen. Right here, right now, live on Monday Night Raw. It looks like Breaker and Hakeem Wilde will start us off here. Referee rings the bell. Here we go. Matchup is official. And certainly Breakker and Big E will certainly get that test early on tonight, because obviously Santos and Rey Mysterio are pretty much the same in the terms of what Hakeem Wilde and Cruz del Toro are going to be bringing to the table tonight. Look at those big haymakers, and now look at this big swinging neck breaker to the big man, Braun Breaker. And certainly for Hakeem Wilde and Cruz del Toro, obviously they've been a good tag team here in universe mode. Certainly if they can get some wins under their belt, maybe they could have a friendly matchup with the other side of the LWO. I highly doubt that, but I think as long as they can get some wins, certainly that would prepare them for a future title shot if they were ever to get a chance for those tag team championships. You just never know. As Breakker with a big moonsault there. Ladies and gentlemen, still to come tonight, Bayley versus Asuka, and also that big 8-man tag team matchup. But we have failed to address what we just saw a little bit ago. It was a short, maybe couple second teaser, it seemed like, of Paul Heyman, and it seemed like it was CM Punk backstage there. And honestly, looked like it was more in the interview area of sorts. But obviously Paul Heyman is the advocate, the special counsel of Roman Reigns, the wise man of the Bloodline. So certainly, is CM Punk going to be the 4th member tonight? Paul Heyman did say he's going to make some calls, and it seemed like maybe was a face-to-face interaction with CM Punk. Maybe he was a part of that phone call. So I guess we'll see later on tonight. But also, we got to figure out who Jey Uso is going to be able to pick from Monday Night Raw to join him to help take down the Bloodline here tonight. Roman Reigns says that he'll be in the Royal Rumble. There's a lot of big names certainly going to be in the Rumble. Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins have already said that they will be in the Royal Rumble match. So was Jey Uso. We haven't really confirmed Jimmy Uso, but certainly Jey Uso will certainly be in the matchup as well. And just plenty of others we've seen from SmackDown as well, some big names. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to see from this roster at Royal Rumble, certainly a lot of big names will be coming our way, and I can't honestly wait to really see who's going to be able to break out at this year's Royal Rumble. But we'll focus more on this tag team matchup. Toro trying to go for some kind of springboard Inseguri, didn't work out in his favor, as now Breakker going to get himself a tag, a well-timed tag, as now here comes a former Intercontinental Champion, former Tag Team Champion, Big E, the big man of the group, looking to do some damage to Cruz del Toro here. Also later on tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be hearing from the women's Tag Team Champions Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. They will be addressing their undisputed championship win over Asuka and Becky Lynch. Be big question looming over their heads. We do know officially at the Royal Rumble they will be defending their women's tag team championships as DDT to Braun Breaker. He's already busted open, but it will be Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defending those tag team championships against the likes of Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. So we'll certainly, I'm sure they'll be addressing them as well, but like I mentioned, a lot of big time matches, and I'm really looking forward to what we see from those women later on tonight. Breakker trying to put away Hakeem Wilde as fast as he can. Breakker telling him to stay down, but right now D-Generation X not really getting much of anything going. As Breakker runs right through Hakeem Wilde. Big clothesline there will help out as well. Big E now. Oh my goodness, what a back suplex there from Big E. And Big E mocking that New Day chants, the New Day Rocks chant. And now look at these big clubbing blows from Braun Breaker, man. Gonna be breaking his nose if he doesn't start to try to block those, especially for how big Braun Breaker is. And now Hakeem Wilde with what of a maneuver, a big powerbomb type of maneuver. Pinfall opportunity. Referee is literally right there to make sure if he were to get all of his shoulders down and be pinned, but Breakker going to continue to fight. Braun Breaker's all about scratching and clawing his way to the top. And certainly Breakker being a part of D-Generation X and former Raw Tag Team Champion is not going to be easy. You're in one of the biggest groups of all time, and certainly losing matches like D-Generation X has for those Raw Tag Team Championships, certainly not the best feeling in the world, but maybe at one of the biggest events in WWE, that being the Royal Rumble, maybe there'll be opportunity to change it up and get back to what they're known for, and that is being dominant. There's a little bit of a cheap shot there from Cruz del Toro, but certainly helping out the LWO as much as they can here. Now Big E trying to decide what he needs to do right now. Big pivotal point in this matchup for Big E is a big powerful slam there. Big power bomb to Hakeem Wilde. Is that enough? No, a big strong kick out. Big E's like, what in the hell do I got to do? How am I going to keep Hakeem Wilde down? He's going to allow Braun Breaker to try and do some damage. Big clothesline there. It looks like Wilde's going to try to get himself a tag, and he will. Two fresher of the superstars of the teams. Now Breaker just needs to, pinfall will help it out, but I would say definitely hit some more of those power maneuvers that Breaker is certainly known for in his tenure here in WWE. And now Breaker, innovative maneuver, a little something different from Braun. And look at Big E and Braun, look at frequent tags. You can tell since they've become a tag team that certainly they've helped out. And I think, honestly, with Big E being in a tag team with the New Day, he certainly got to see the ins and outs, obviously, of being a tag team champion and just working with Kofi and Xavier Woods a lot of the time. So certainly with his expertise, he certainly will be able to help out this tag team as much as he can. Oh, Big E off the ropes. Look at this big splash to the midsection. But look at that right there. Hakeem Wilde does not get him any time to let him go to work there. And now Breaker will get the tag. Surprised Big E wouldn't try to go and do some more work to Hakeem Wilde. But he's going to allow Breaker, the younger superstar, to get his licks in here. It's kind of what you got to do. Let these guys go to work, figure out what they can do in this tag team matchup. Oh my goodness, what a kick to the left side of the skull. Breaker is seeing stars right now. Oh, missing that. It seemed like almost like a choke slam type of maneuver. And big time Russian leg sweep. Oh, he's going to turn it into a, oh my goodness, look at this neck. Big time submission hold here to Breaker. That is not what you want your neck to be turning into for sure. Breaker now back inside the ring. Hakeem Wilde going to look to maybe get a tag here possibly. Good back and forth tag team match from the get-go. A lot of back and forth as now. Look at Cruz del Toro with the big flying shoulder tackle. Takes down Breaker. Can Toro put away Breaker here? Big time opportunity. Is a big, that's supposed to be an enziguri. Whatever it was, Breaker able to get out of it out of the last second there. And now another tag. Hopefully for Santos and Rey Mysterio. Hopefully they are here. And if they're not actually here, hopefully they're watching this matchup as these two teams go at it and see what they can kind of pick away from this matchup. See what flaws Big E and Braun Breaker have. Certainly they kind of already know that because they've already beaten them. But, obviously it doesn't hurt to scout your opponents. And obviously with Rey Mysterio, the legendary luchador, certainly he's been around forever. So he really knows what to really be on the lookout for. Ooh, a big DDT to Big E there at ringside. And like we mentioned, LWO was formerly, before they joined up with Rey Mysterio to join up with the LWO, they were known as Legado del Fantasma. Santos Escobar, Hakeem Wilde, and Cruz del Toro. But obviously they saw Rey Mysterio struggling and said, hey, you know what? We saw Rey Mysterio, lose his son to the Judgment Day, And you know what better time to be there for somebody than us putting our powers together and forming this mega group known as the LWO. Big pinfall opportunity here from Wild, but again, Breakker saving the day. Wild gonna make Breakker pay. Big time dropkick to the outside. And just like that, the LWO have the advantage here early on. Can they make Big E pay here? Perfect opportunity. A 2-on-1 situation. As Big E getting hit with those massive forearms to the midsection here. Look at Wild. He's saying, hey, do I want to go for the tag? Do I want to try and put away Big E? It's again the double stomp right to the face. Pinfall opportunity. Breakker picking the right time to get back into this matchup. And just like that again, it seems like LWO might have this matchup under control right now. I think again, if they're able to get the numbers game, I think LWO might be able to pick up a massive win over D-Generation X here. Back in the corner here. This is not where you want to be if you're Del Toro. What are we going to see here? Breakker. Big running kick to the face. Almost like a punt maneuver. And now Breakker. What is Braun Breakker have in store for Cruz Del Toro? Looking for that military press slam, but Toro one step ahead of him there. It's been like that all night. Braun Breakker and Big E just cannot figure out what to do right now. And it seems like the LWO is just one step ahead of him. And now here comes Hakeem Wild with a flying shoulder tackle. Takes down Hakeem Wild. Or takes down Breakker. Down goes Breakker. But now Breakker in a bad situation again here. Breakker about to eat 2 feet right to the jaw. Certainly that may be all she wrote, but again, the matchup continues here. And now Hakeem Wild just going to work on the legs. That's what you're going to have to. I mean, there's so much going on in this matchup. But look at Braun Breakker with the kip up out of nowhere. Absolute a freak of nature, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, man. And now Breakker with another one. Why not? This is what Breakker needs to do right now. You got to bring the fight to Hakeem Wild and the LWO. Look at these massive punches. Oh my goodness, he's busted wide open now. And now again, Breakker, the physicality is coming out right now. This is not where you want to be right now. You do not want this freak of nature doing what he is doing right now. Braun Breakker looking to hit that military press power slam. What a maneuver. Oh, and a big spear. A big spear there. Is that going to be it? Breakker just walking over. Gonna go for the pinfall. Is that it? Yes, it is. D-Generation X. Hitting that spear beforehand, hitting that military press slam. But it certainly looked like the LWO were just moments away. But Breakker finally showing that brutality side of himself, beating the snot out of Hakeem Wild at the very end, I believe. And that military press slam so powerful. And look at that, bam! Vicious DDT, but D-Generation X looking to get those tag team championships once again at the Royal Rumble, ladies and gentlemen. How do you think it fares? Do they get the championship back, or will the LWO show you that they are supreme and better than DX? We are back now with the one-on-one contest between Bayley, your women's world champion, and the Empress of today, that being Asuka. That woman Bayley, though, she will be defending her women's championship, her women's world championship at the Royal Rumble. Certainly going to be, I would say, one of the more intriguing matchups after this rivalry. It continues to get very out of hand with what we've been seeing as of late, especially these last couple months. seeing the downfall of damage control within, starting with Io Sky backing out of the group after what damage control did to Kairi Sane, and then also what we just witnessed tonight. Seemed like Dakota Kai was having the back of Sasha Banks, and well, that did not turn out well because Dakota Kai would beat down Sasha Banks, and Kairi Sane would come out and say, hey, you know what? That is what we call karma. So it certainly looks like the Kabuki Warriors have certainly got themselves a massive group growing, and it certainly helps when the likes of having Asuka, Io Sky, Dakota Kai now being, and then also Kairi Sane, and there is the group following Asuka out to the ring as well. And certainly, I mean, that's for most of the group, they are former women's champions, from tag team champions to SmackDown Women's Champion. This whole group has essentially won all championships in WWE. Not all the championships, but you know, they had a championship runs in WWE. But except for Kairi Sane, from what I understand, if I remember my long history of Universe Mode, Kairi Sane's still looking for some championship gold, and I believe at the Royal Rumble it could be her time. Right now it's essentially a 4-on-2 numbers game, if you count Sasha Banks to be officially part of damage control alongside Bayley. But right now it is Asuka taking on Bayley 1-on-1. We are officially 2 weeks away from the Royal Rumble match, and also the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and certainly most of these women are going to be looking to be in that Royal Rumble and walk out victorious, especially Bayley, since she's Women's World Champion. As the referee has rung the bell, here we go. This is your co-main event of the evening. Bayley not too happy after watching her best friend be attacked by Dakota Kai. And for the nerve of them to come down here after what we saw just a little bit ago, she is not going to be too happy with it. Bayley just bringing those big haymakers to the Empress of today, that being Asuka. Big knee strike there from Bayley. And Asuka now, oh goodness, dropping her on her back area. That won't be feeling too good. And for the women's division, ladies and gentlemen, we are just mere moments away. After this matchup, we are going to be hearing from Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez addressing the women's tag team division. Oh, what a spinning heel kick there from Asuka. Certainly going to knock out Bayley. Now look at these Asuka kicks right here. Very strong, right to the shoulder blade and right to the temple. Down goes Bayley. Bayley down and out. Asuka, what is she even doing? She's going high risk here. Will it be worth it though? This is about halfway across the ring here. Asuka, big time missile drop kick takes down the champ. Pinfall opportunity. Is that enough? Unfortunately not for Asuka. And like we mentioned for the women at ringside, and even Asuka as well, certainly what number will they draw in the Royal Rumble? Will they even be in the Royal Rumble? More than likely they will be, but you just never know, especially with the drawing. Only so many members. Certainly they're going to NXT, I would assume. You never know. Legends as well. Surprise appearances here and there. You just never know what the outlook of the Royal Rumble match will turn out to be. Every year there seems to be surprises. Certainly we've seen so much. As now Bayley with the Bayley to belly to Asuka. Bayley looking to send a message she sent it a couple weeks ago on SmackDown. That's exactly what she did to Asuka just right then and there. Is Bayley going to put away Asuka? No, Asuka with a strong kick out. And look at the frustration on the face of Bayley. She cannot believe it. And Bayley rubbing it in the face of everybody in that right-hand corner there. But now Asuka going to look to make her pay. Bayley was taking too much time. But Asuka cannot capitalize here, and she pays for it. Bayley doing quite well for this 4-on-1 situation. Bayley with the headlock, taking down Asuka. Will Asuka have to tap out? Nowhere to go. Center of that ring. Be a rare occasion to see a woman like Asuka tap out. And now we are at a stalemate momentarily, but now Bayley bringing in the big old haymakers and takes down Asuka. Pinfall opportunity, is this enough? 2, 3, yes, Bayley steals one. That was a brutal clothesline taking down Asuka. It's a 4-on-1 in this matchup, but look at this clothesline, bam! I think Asuka's head and neck, big whiplash on that clothesline. And Bayley gets the job done. She gets a little bit of redemption tonight after Sasha getting turned on by Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai turning her back. But Bayley with a big win. Winning these women's undisputed championships was an awesome thing for us to do on SmackDown. But a lot of people are going to put an asterisk due to the outside interference of Jade Cargill. And yes, she interfered and we picked up the win after we took out Asuka and Becky, but a win is a win, and we have to take these women's tag team champions a little bit further than Becky and Asuka did, and they did a lot for this women's tag team division. We are going to have a tough test against Ronda and Shayna at the Royal Rumble. Yes, they have beaten us before in tag team action, and honestly, they beat the crap out of us. We didn't put up much of a fight, but that's going to change at the Royal Rumble. I guarantee you this, we are not one and done champions. We are going to show you how damn good we are. Raquel being a former SmackDown Women's Champion, and well, for myself, I'm going to be one of the longest women's tag team champions in a very long time. Monday Night Raw, NXT, and Friday Night SmackDown. Be on the lookout for your newest undisputed women's tag team champions. And a side note to NXT, yes, we will be defending our women's tag team championships at NXT Deadline. So find a contender and we'll meet you there at Deadline in a couple weeks' time. But now we have to get ready to a little flight to SmackDown. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your main event of the evening. It will be Roman Reigns, The Rock, and Solo Sikoa. And we're going to see who their partner is right here, right now. It looks like it is CM Punk. We did see briefly CM Punk and Paul Heyman talking backstage. And well, it looks like they are going to work together at least for tonight. This is the first time seeing CM Punk after Survivor Series when we saw him, but then we were scheduled to see CM Punk a part of a fatal 4-way to determine who would face Gunther at the Royal Rumble for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins had different plans, and he would stomp CM Punk into the ground twice. So this is our first time seeing him back after being stomped by Seth Rollins. And coming up at the Royal Rumble, this man CM Punk goes one-on-one with Seth frickin' Rollins in a unsanctioned matchup. So that means anything can happen, anything will happen, and it is bound to get physical, bloody, everything you can think of in a type of unsanctioned matchup. As we wait for the other members of the Bloodline to make their way down to the ring, and it will be Roman Reigns, the head of the table. Make sure everyone here tonight acknowledges your tribal chief here tonight on the sold-out edition of Monday Night Raw. And there he is. Former World Heavyweight Champion, former WWE Champion, former United States Champion. This man has done it all, it seems like, in WWE, and would love to add the Royal Rumble to a list of a lot of big accolades he has done in his career. Roman has done quite a bit, love him or hate him, in his career. For a majority of his career, he's been somebody that the fans looked up to, somebody that they loved seeing in WWE. But ever since a couple years ago at SummerSlam, it really changed him. That's when he won the championship. But certainly ever since then, when he, like we mentioned before, won it at SummerSlam and would go on to have a long reign with that Universal Championship all the way to WrestleMania, where he would lose to Bray Wyatt. But for Roman Reigns, it's all about getting back to the top. And certainly he got back to the top with winning that World Heavyweight Championship, being the second ever King of the Ring winner. But he would be cashed in on by Drew McIntyre. So certainly for Roman, he's having to deal with all sorts of things going on with the Bloodline and himself. At one time it was supposed to be, Roman and even Bray Wyatt for the championship here on Monday Night Raw. Things change, unfortunately, with the untimely passing of Bray Wyatt. And that man right there on your screen, Solo Sikoa, would win a Bray Wyatt Memorial Battle Royal, where there's 30 superstars vying for an opportunity. Solo and Austin Theory were the last two, and Solo would walk out the winner. Solo and Roman would go on to have a championship match. Roman Reigns would go on to defeat Solo. And kind of a little bit after that is kind of when the Bloodline would kind of implode little by little, with Jimmy and Jey not winning the tag team match against the Brothers of Destruction. Kind of changed everything. And then also, obviously, Jey and Jimmy not too happy about it, mostly Jey. And then, leading to that Survivor Series matchup recently. And then, obviously, between Jimmy and Jey, Jimmy betraying his own brother Jey. So just a lot of stuff going on, as there is your people's champion, The Rock. The Rock has been in Solo Sikoa's corner for quite a bit of time now, helping out the young man and having him grow. Big question is for The Rock, though, will he be injecting himself in the Royal Rumble? Or does he have more movie requirements? Something we're going to have to find out in just a couple weeks' time. Imagine The Rock drawing numbers, obviously not number 30, but 1 through 29. We know Damian Priest from SmackDown will be number 30 for SmackDown. So we'll see how that's going to fare. But, tonight is going to be a big matchup. But my question is for the Bloodline, can they work with CM Punk? We've seen one brief match with Roman Reigns and CM Punk where Roman Reigns has defeated CM Punk. So we'll see if there's maybe any backlash, I guess you could say, with Roman and CM Punk being in the same match. Obviously, there's a past with The Rock and CM Punk. You guys do remember back in the day, I believe it was around 2013, if I do remember correctly, 2013, 2014 time-ish, where The Rock was WWE champion. He took that WWE championship away from CM Punk. And those guys would go back and forth. But, certainly, there's definitely some history in the past between those two. So we'll see if those come through. But now we have to figure out who Jey Uso is going to be teaming up with. Who did he find backstage that would be willing to work with him? About mere moments away from finding out. Looks like Jey Uso will be coming out first. Main event, Jey Uso. Jey Uso going to have a big matchup at the Royal Rumble against Jimmy Uso. Jimmy, if he wins, he gets himself back in the Bloodline. But if Jey Uso wins, he not only is stopping his brother from getting into the Bloodline, but we already know the announcement that we saw last week on Raw that Jey Uso is going over to SmackDown. So after he gets his tenure done here at the Royal Rumble for Monday Night Raw, he'll be going over to SmackDown, and he's going to get a whole different trajectory on his career. But let's go ahead and see for Jey, who did he find? who would be even willing to tag with Jey Uso, especially with the a lot of stuff that he did? A lot of people are going to be resenting Jey Uso for sure. So, okay, this is a good choice for Jey. A big choice. First ever King of the Ring winner, former WWE champion, former World Heavyweight champion, former Mr. Money in the Bank as well. And we could go on and on. Former $1 Million champion. This man has seemed like he has accomplished it all in WWE, and especially there in NXT. But Drew McIntyre is coming out down to the ring. We know Drew McIntyre will be in the Royal Rumble matchup. Can Drew add the Royal Rumble to a list of his accolades? It'd be a big time moment if Drew can do it. Especially that 2-night WrestleMania event. Too big to have it just at one night. I love having it 2 nights. Gets those big time opportunities for multiple champions to be featured. Also adds more superstars to be featured throughout WrestleMania. So it's always a great thing to see. And for Drew McIntyre, he probably doesn't necessarily care that Jey Uso asked him to be in this matchup. I think for Drew McIntyre, all at this point is he wants to get his hands back on the Bloodline, because they have caused a lot of heartache, for sure. Especially with Solo and everything like that. So I think in this matchup, this is what Drew McIntyre wants, to get back on Roman, get back on Solo, certainly. And now look at this, Seth frickin' Rollins, ladies and gentlemen. This is a big time pickup for Seth Rollins to be on Jey Uso's team. We know Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns from the Shield days. They reunited it years and years ago, before we saw Dean Ambrose at that time, formerly known as Dean Ambrose, now Jon Moxley, turned his back on Seth, and that went downhill. But Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns have that past. Rollins, the rivalry currently with CM Punk. It's been one-sided, though, in this, as CM Punk is up 2-0. And, well, technically it'll stay 2-0 at the Royal Rumble, because it is a unsanctioned matchup. But Rollins, I think all he cares about is stomping the crap out of CM Punk, getting some much-needed beating of CM Punk out of his system. And Rollins, like he's mentioned before, he is in the Royal Rumble matchup. We'll see what Seth Rollins will draw to be in that Royal Rumble matchup. Could it be the year of Seth frickin' Rollins? He believes it's his moment. It's coming up very, very soon. Is it, though? You know, it's so many big-time superstars in the Royal Rumble, you just don't know. But let's figure out who Jey Uso could pick out here. Okay. Very interesting pick. The man that has actually had a past rivalry with CM Punk, that being Wade Barrett. And I find it very interesting too, ladies and gentlemen. Wade Barrett wearing a Nexus shirt. He hasn't been really wearing that much, hasn't been really focused here on Monday Night Raw ever since winning against CM Punk. He's kind of been trying to figure out his next steps, his future here, and certainly Barrett would love to get himself in the Royal Rumble, but you know, big question is this Nexus t-shirt. You know, is Wade Barrett thinking about bringing back Nexus? We saw in that rivalry, Wade Barrett with CM Punk, that's a lot of stuff that he came up with, that, you know, CM Punk took over Nexus and changed everything about it. So it could technically be some mind games from Wade Barrett with CM Punk. Referee rings the bell. CM Punk and Jey Uso will be going to war to kick off this matchup. Big time brawl coming your way. Drew McIntyre, CM Punk. This matchup, I'd honestly like to see two absolute top tier talent going at it. And CM Punk and Roman Reigns gonna get the tag here. Surprised Punk would get a tag to Roman first, especially with the rivalry that Drew and Roman have had. But maybe it's all about the plan. You just never know what these superstars have store for each other, especially with this marquee matchup. And I'll look at Dwayne and Drew McIntyre, and now look at this, McIntyre beating the chest of The Rock right in front of his bloodline. Right in front of Roman, right in front of Solo Sikoa. Drew is not going to back down. This man has had to work his ass off to get to the top of the top here in WWE, and he has certainly earned it. From the days of being on SmackDown to the WWE Championship, the Money in the Bank, to the King of the Ring, to where that King of the Ring win basically got Drew McIntyre to where he is at today, to being one of the top tier talent in all of WWE, and especially here on Monday Night Raw. And I think honestly for Drew, he's got to be a fan. He's not only a fan favorite, but in the terms of that Royal Rumble matchup, he's got to be a favorite to win that. As a double back body drop takes down the former world champion, and now you got to be so locked in on this matchup because you have a man like the Enforcer Solo Sikoa, so dangerous. We've listed off the number of superstars he has defeated in his career. And he is one of those superstars that will continue to dominate the landscape of WWE. But question though for Solo Sikoa is, when does Solo win his first championship? Solo not too happy about Wade Barrett breaking that up. And look, it just gave Seth Rollins the ability to get tagged in here. But Solo again, one step closer and one step faster as he takes down Seth. And now Solo, he wants it all. He wants it right here. He wants it right now. And down goes Solo. Back and forth we go. And now we got an interaction between Solo and Jey Uso here. As, oh, look at that clothesline, turning him inside out. And now look at Rollins coming right after the corner, taking out Rock. He was trying to bring the fight to CM Punk as well. Now a little bit of one-on-one interaction with everybody. A 3-on-1 assault, essentially, or 1-on-3, and now an insecurity to Roman. Rollins is trying to get back in that World Championship picture, and certainly at the Royal Rumble, that will be his opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, if he can do it, to go on to main event WrestleMania. The Rock is desperately trying to get that tag from Solo, but Solo just has not been able to get out of the middle of this ring right now. And out of all the superstars in this matchup, Solo Sikoa has the least amount of experience. So will that come to, you know, a bad thing for the Bloodline? You know, you never know in these type of matches, but you know, Solo, you can never count him out. Especially the Enforcer of the Bloodline. He one of the most brutal superstars with that Samoan spike. And look at this, get an interaction between Roman and Seth. Last time these two fought, Roman Reigns basically ran through Seth. It wasn't much of a matchup, as of course CM Punk had to get that cheap shot in on Seth. That will continue to help out Roman. But again, with these superstars in the Royal Rumble matches, they will have matches at the Royal Rumble, but also one of the biggest talking points is this year's Royal Rumble, especially the men's and women's side. We already know number 30 for the men's Royal Rumble, but, you know, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win the Rumble. As now Roman with the spear, that Superman spear combo, and Jey Uso right there to save the day. Keeping this matchup going, and Roman not too happy about that, and he's going to toss him in the corner. Seth is down and out, and Roman going to show some Bloodline love to Jey Uso there. And then a spear to Drew McIntyre. Roman bringing the big fight to everybody right here, right now. A big clubbing blow. Rollins back in the ring, but Roman now maybe one step ahead of him. No, reverse DDT takes down Roman. One hell of a matchup, ladies and gentlemen. Both sides just beating the absolute snot out of each other. But my question goes out to our loyal fans out there. Who do you guys think would walk out winner of the infamous Royal Rumble match? Batista was the first ever. Adam Cole was the second ever. Do we see a new one as a spear to Seth Rollins, spearing him in half? But Drew McIntyre saves the matchup. The matchup will continue. Roman, a little bit of a cheap shot now, just beating the living crap out of Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns certainly has got himself a lot better throughout these last couple years. Rollins certainly trying to get himself back into World Championship pictures. Certainly, you know, Roman out of the Shield days has accomplished more than Jon Moxley and Seth Rollins. Rollins is a former WWE champion, but it just isn't the same. That was when we basically first started. That was 6-7 years ago. It's a whole different roster, whole different people. As now Solo looking to attack Seth Rollins there. So anything is gonna happen. It is going to happen at the Royal Rumble. It could be Seth Rollins' moment. Could it be Jey? Could it be McIntyre? Could it be Solo? He has experience in winning 30-man over-the-top Royal Rumble matches, even though it was a memorial battle royal. CM Punk wants to, do what he set out when he came back to WWE. Yes, he was in NXT for well over a year, but finally got to the main roster, got to Monday Night Raw. He wants to do something that he wanted to do in his first tenure in WWE, and that is main event WrestleMania. Well, he'll be able to secure that spot if he walks out the winner of the Royal Rumble. Yes, now Jey Uso with the Uso splash to his younger brother Solo. Is this it? Oh, but Roman, of course. He had to be the one breaking it up. Certainly one of those matches. No. Looks like we're going to get a tag. Here comes Wade Barrett. And like we mentioned before, I wonder with Wade Barrett's attire, I wonder if it's going to be mostly the mind games. Because when Jey Uso obviously came up to him, I wonder if, Jey Uso had something in mind, especially if Jey Uso saw what we all saw earlier with Paul Heyman talking to CM Punk. You just never know, ladies and gentlemen. There's so many things going on, especially the stories that we've had over the past year. A super kick, did you see Solo? He took that on the chin and didn't even affect him. That Samoan drop, and now the Samoan spike to Jey Uso. That may be all she wrote, but Drew McIntyre keeps the matchup going. Holy crap. What a match. Solo sending a message to his older brother Jey, and The Rock, who we haven't seen much of in this matchup, going to look to send a message to Jey Uso. Saying, hey, you got kicked out of the Bloodline for a reason. And, Rock, was he thinking about trying to grapple Jey and turn it into a spine buster? Whatever it was, it didn't work out. Jey was one step ahead of him. Coming up at the Royal Rumble, we may see Jimmy, if he defeats Jey, get back into the Bloodline. Be a big opportunity. The thing is, if Jimmy does win and gets back in the Bloodline, what kind of treatment is he going to get from the likes of Roman, The Rock, and Solo Sikoa? It's one of those things is, do you really want to get back into the Bloodline? As Wade Barrett with that cheap shot to CM Punk and try to do it again. But now Rock and CM Punk briefly working together in a big old clothesline from the Brahma Bull. I'm going to tag in the head of the table, Roman Reigns here. Oh, off the top. Oh, big time Samoan drop. Takes down Wade Barrett. Roman looking to pick up a big win here on Monday Night Raw, but Wade Barrett kicking out at a strong 1 count. Rollins just trying to play some mind games with Roman Reigns. Why not? As Wade Barrett gonna hit that pump handle slam on the former World Heavyweight Champion. And now Wade Barrett looking to hit that big elbow, but now Roman saw it coming. That is just how damn good Roman Reigns. He felt it coming. And just like that, took it to Wade. But Wade, he's trying to get to the corner, trying to get a hot tag, and he does. Here comes McIntyre. Roman and McIntyre, middle of the ring. Uh-oh. Future shock DDT to Roman. Is this it? Dude, but Solo breaks it up just in time. And now Solo and Jey gonna go at it. And now McIntyre with the Claymore. Claymore to Roman. Is this it? One. Or at least close to a 1, but CM Punk saving the matchup. The matchup continues. This matchup is breaking down, ladies and gentlemen. Finishers are not too less tonight, because we are seeing all sorts of love when it comes to the finishers department. And now McIntyre and Rollins going to work together. And look at that big gash in that left eye area of Roman Reigns here. This matchup breaking down. Solo going after his brother Jey here. Roman trying to figure out what the hell to do. He might be a little out of it. And now Seth and CM Punk. Here we go. Big time clothesline from Seth frickin' Rollins. Rollins trying to figure out what he wants to do. He is in the Bloodline's corner right now. Going to be very, very careful. And now Rollins stuns the former champion. And for Rollins, you got to stay on Punk. You cannot let the Bloodline in the corner really dictate this matchup here. CM Punk with that running knee. That is vintage CM Punk. One of the best to ever do it. And Punk working quite well with the Bloodline right now. Rollins barely even moving. We're not going to go high risk here. Not too sure why, but it is gotta do what you gotta do now. Gonna flip over Rollins, gonna decide to go for the pinfall, but McIntyre not gonna allow this matchup to end like that. Rock hasn't been too much in this matchup. Mostly we've seen CM Punk, Solo, and Roman Reigns do all the work. Rock trying to save all this for these other superstars that are more of the full-time basis. And CM Punk is just eating this up, ladies and gentlemen. Rollins trying to just recuperate right now. Just trying to get some time. As Punk now. Big time clothesline. What a lariat. Decapitating Rollins. I don't think Rollins is even going to know where the hell he's at. And he eats a spine buster just for it. And now The Rock, instead of going for the people's elbow, decided to try to steal the matchup, but certainly didn't work out in his favor. Now The Rock, the Brahma Bull, gonna look for a good old-fashioned rock bottom to Seth Rollins. Is this it? Pinfall. But McIntyre continues this matchup, and now you got yourselves McIntyre and Roman going at it. Pinfall opportunity for Rollins. As this matchup is breaking down, this is your main event. You have Rollins and The Rock going at it here. Big jumping knee strike. This is anyone's ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Recently on SmackDown, we saw a massive 8-man elimination tag team matchup between the Judgment Day and the All Champions team of LA Knight, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes' team would get a decisive win by winning the matchup with only having one elimination on their side, where Sami Zayn was eliminated by Damian Priest. But everyone else on the Judgment Day would be eliminated. So it's a good back and forth matchup, but the Judgment Day just could not survive that elimination matchup. Big stunner there from McIntyre, and now Barrett coming after the WWE Hall of Famer, The Rock. And now the Brahma Bull striking with everything he can. Jey Uso trying to help out Barrett as much as he can as well. Oh, and a big backbreaker there, The Rock. I think if Wade Barrett and company right now can keep The Rock down, cut the ring off, certainly that may help them out in the long run. because for the most part, hasn't been in this matchup too much compared to everyone else, like I've mentioned before. As now, Wade Barrett going to look for that pump handle slam there to the Brahma Bull. He tried hitting this on Roman Reigns earlier, didn't work out, but this time it does. The big elbow to the face of The Rock, but Roman saves the day for The Rock, at least right here, right now. And Wade Barrett just going to try to do some damage to the rest of the Bloodline and CM Punk if he has to. Like we mentioned before, that rivalry between CM Punk and Wade Barrett, that went on. CM Punk was glad to move on from Wade Barrett, because Wade Barrett said wherever Punk went, he would make CM Punk's life a living hell, and Punk would not win any championships. And so far, CM Punk has not been close to any championships just yet. As The Rock taking out everybody in company here at ringside, everything is breaking down, ladies and gentlemen. Uh-oh, wait a minute. Solo getting in the ring here, trying to help out his family. And just like that, the Brahma Bull with the spine buster. Everyone's down and out. That could be it. 2. No. Luckily for Barrett, he is not down and out. And Barrett trying to figure out where the hell he's at. That would have been the perfect opportunity to win the matchup. Solo trying to help out as much as he can. Jey Uso getting a good lap in right there. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we are back to 50-50 right now. This matchup has broken down so many times. Hard to call, but if this is any indication of what the Royal Rumble will be looking like, ladies and gentlemen, this Royal Rumble may be the biggest premium live event in the history of the channel. We've seen for the women's side, that's been heating up too. Former women's Royal Rumble winners go from Becky Lynch to Charlotte. Could we see Becky or Charlotte become the first ever 2-time Royal Rumble winner? And for the men's side, Batista and Adam Cole, could they win their second Royal Rumbles? Batista, he's officially retired, a part of Evolution years and years ago, so I highly doubt maybe ever seeing Batista again. But Adam Cole, he is a former NXT Tag Team Champion, or I should say current NXT Tag Team Champion, so you never know what he may have be kind of going on. Solo just beating the living snot out of his brother here in the middle of this ring. Not going to be feeling the best for Jey Uso. Solo going to try to send him a parting shot, as Solo is going to be taking Jey Uso into the corner here. Like we mentioned, after the Royal Rumble, Jey Uso will be going over to SmackDown. Different opportunities. Oh, big kick to the face, and now Solo with a big splash into the corner. Jey Uso is in trouble. Rock. Uh-oh. We all know what this is. The Rock going for the Rock bottom. Down goes Jey. Referee is right there. But Wade Barrett keeps this match going. Seemed like Wade was about to be thrown out the ring there, but certainly Roman didn't like what he was trying to do either. Jey now, I think Jey needs to get a tag, and I think that's where we may be heading, but The Rock saw it coming. He's going to be so careful when you're in the corner of your enemies, your opponents. You can do whatever they want. But right now you got a 4-on-3 situation with Wade Barrett down and out. Oh, Rock taking him right down under. That certainly will not be feeling the best. And if you're just tuning in, this is your main event. CM Punk and Paul Heyman were talking earlier on tonight as Punk gets the tag from The Rock. CM Punk was the 4th member. A lot of people were kind of curious of what Paul Heyman meant last week of, you know, be going to a different city of sorts. A lot of people were thinking a different superstar, I believe, but certainly CM Punk being on Monday Night Raw makes total sense from the second City Saint. As Jey was going for a spear to Solo, didn't work out, and look at Punk. Punk and Rollins going at it here, looking for that fisherman suplex there to Rollins. Rollins is down and out, and now you got McIntyre and CM Punk, big swinging neck breaker there to Punk. Matchup is breaking down, ladies and gentlemen, which is expected. And now CM Punk going after Wade Barrett. Like we mentioned before, CM Punk has history with the likes of Wade Barrett and Seth Rollins. And now Rollins going to have to watch Jey Uso get hit with a GTS from CM Punk to Jey Uso. Thankfully, the chosen one, Drew McIntyre, was able to break it up. Now this is where CM Punk has to decide what he can do right now. Uh-oh. Punk now. High risk. Is he thinking suplex? Oh no, this is time for a Pepsi plunge, it looks like. CM Punk pedigree. The Pepsi plunge pedigree from the top rope. And this may be it, but oh, did you see The Rock? I think The Rock just cut off Roman Reigns. I don't know if we'll get an instant replay from that, but it looked like The Rock cut off Roman Reigns there. I would love to have, like I mentioned, a camera view of that. But certainly that was very interesting, to say the least. And talking about interesting, the big dog, the tribal chief, with a spear decapitating Jey Uso. But McIntyre again keeping this matchup underway. Punk, a little bit of a face-to-face encounter with Rollins and Drew McIntyre. And now Roman's like, hey, screw it. Why not? As this matchup continues a bit with that big old back suplex. Jey coming right after Punk now. Jey seems like he wants to take on the whole team over there. Roman trying to take out McIntyre, trying to do as much as he can. I think Jey, this is his adrenaline flowing through. He's trying to take out as much as he can to make sure they don't break up the possible pinfall or submission in this match. Why not? Here we go, opportunity to take down Roman, but a big time kick out. And what is Jey? Jey is trying to figure out what he wants to do. Does he want to go for the tag? Does he want to get himself out of there? I think, Rollins and Jey kind of talked there for a quick second. Rollins said, hey, continue to bring that fight to him. You have him right where you want him. Roman, he is just bleeding like a stuffed pig. Jey trying to fight out of the corner. Trying to take on his brother and his cousin at the same time. Here we go with the big tag to Drew McIntyre. And here we go. The Brahma Bull, The Rock, and Drew McIntyre. The Rock catches him. Big time rock bottom. Is this it? Referee is in position. 2. No, McIntyre kicks out. Are you kidding me? Holy cow. How did McIntyre kick out of that catching rock bottom? Holy cow. And McIntyre trying to get a tag, but he gets decapitated by The Rock. If you want to know about lariats, that right there is a lariat for you guys at home. As that neck breaker continues. But ladies and gentlemen, next week will be your go-home show for the Royal Rumble. What will Monday Night Raw look like as we itch closer and closer to the Royal Rumble, and especially what we saw tonight, Dakota Kai joining the Kabuki Warriors, betraying Sasha Banks and Bayley. Bayley, though, defeated Asuka earlier on tonight, which honestly would be more shocking, honestly, as a 4-on-1 situation. But Bayley was able to outlast the Kabuki Warriors and company. As Punk trying to beat the snot out of Wade Barrett here in the middle of this ring, slowly but surely. As now Punk, high risk, high reward from the Second City Saint, CM Punk with the elbow to the chest of Wade Barrett. And now Solo Sikoa going to get tagged in the ring. He's going to let Solo put the final touches of this match away. Pinfall opportunity. Is this it? Yes, it is. CM Punk hit that elbow, little shades of Randy Savage there, but Punk, being the man that he is, he let Solo Sikoa come in this ring and get the pinfall victory. What a main event, ladies and gentlemen. A blockbuster matchup for sure. A lot of back and forth, but Solo gets the victory, gets the pinfall victory tonight, and what should be a massive night and that go home show coming up very soon, and also coming up at the Royal Rumble. We'll have to wait and see what Monday Night Raw will look like next week on the go home show live on Monday Night Raw. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you on NXT.